was coming from someone who knew nothing about cyber to someone who could talk quite knowledgeably about the conceptual side of cyber. I mean, cyber clearly has a deeply technical aspect to it, but what I learned very quickly was that what's more important than the technicality is the implications, the so what, the implications of cyber technology and how it's affecting all our lives. And it was that ability to talk analog about a digital subject and make it meaningful to people who didn't understand it. That, I think, was the great achievement I made. Okay, so when I talk about protection, everyone talks about shields and straight blocking. But to take a military analogy, if you look at how to defend a vehicle against attack, there's sort of 7 layers of defense, and only one of them is actually a physical block. And the first one I'd encourage people, particularly if we're talking to the SME world, is the first item of protection is don't get spotted, be invisible. You know, if you start with the premise that cyberspace is an insecure medium, it's a dodgy place to be, you know, all those comments about if you will get hacked, you will get hacked, it's a certainty. Therefore, once you start with that line, don't minimize your presence on the web, minimize your exposure. Don't go blagging about yourself unless you really have to. Now, I know that works against advertising, but be aware that the more you put yourself out there in the public space, the more you're setting yourself up as a target. And so that first top tip is minimize your exposure and realize that when you're on the net, you are vulnerable, and make sure that everybody doesn't trade their privacy for convenience, because that's what we've all tend to have done. Second point is prepare to be hacked. You know you're going to be hacked. The more successful you are, the more likely you are to be hacked. So prepare for it. And there are all sorts of, create systems, create resilience, create redundancy, train your people, and prepare to be attacked. And the third thing is, it's not just you and your organization, it's your supply chain. Insist on similar disciplines of your command chain. All fairly simple stuff. So minimize your exposure, prepare to be attacked, and make sure your supply chain also abides by good cyber hygiene. Oh, well, you don't have to look far for instances like that. I think the most dramatic was when Russia took offense at the Estonia government's decision to move a statue, the bronze soldier, from the center of Tallinn to a graveyard. They felt that was an insult. And so they basically turned off Estonia in 2007. They shut down their banking, they shut down their government, they shut down their media, so they couldn't even report on it. Basically, it instituted a whole load of botnets and DDoS attacks, which just effectively shut down Estonia for weeks and months. And that is why, curiously enough, Estonia is now the best practice for cybersecurity in Europe, if not the world, because they set up a cyber defense unit. The whole nation got involved because the whole nation realized that this is a really serious business, and if you're faced with a big cyber attack, it's everyone's responsibility to take part. And if there's one example that I would encourage everyone to look at, it's Estonia's response to the cyber attack, because it shows not only the scale, the seriousness of an attack like this, it also shows the way that everyone is involved in this. We must all stay switched on to it. Yeah, well, I was watching Lindy Cameron, who's the new Chief Executive Officer of the National Cybersecurity Centre, and she gave a talk the other week, which is available online, and I'd encourage people to listen to it, because the one thing she says there is that ransomware presents the most immediate danger to the UK business and organisations. So it is absolutely right as the top threat that we face. What to do about it? I'm not going to try and double guess the National Cybersecurity Centre. I would just encourage everybody to look at the National Cybersecurity Centre, where they lay out full instructions. But as a taster, just as a sort of an edited highlights, the first thing they say is always have a clean backup. Have a clean backup of your data on a contingency server that's separated from your existing ones. So you've got a backup. Have layered defense, multiple layers of defense. Do regular backups, prevent the malware from being delivered and spreading. On it goes, all these sort of top tips that are there. The basic point that the National Cybersecurity Centre would say is do not pay them. don't pay them. You've got no guarantee you'll get your money back, and even if or your information back, and even if they do give you information, they may keep bits of it and still blackmail you later on with the information. So it's a futile gesture. Don't do it. And having a clean backup system to just and then take the hits, well, that's what you just got to do. So yeah, look at the National Cybersecurity Center website. They'll give very clear advice on ransomware. But yes, take it seriously, because it is the threat right now. Cybersecurity, or the cyberspace, is an insecure medium, as I've said, and so much so that the Russians actually hacked into the NSA's database and found all the back doors that they insisted that technology companies had instituted in their systems. And so the Russians have a whole list now of backdoors they can exploit. They've already shown it once at SolarWinds. They could do it again. We should expect exploitation of that. So wait out for more to come. The other thing that's immediate is that everyone's getting really hooked on blockchain technology as if it's some kind of panacea and totally secure. It's not. It has backdoors. It has been hacked. It has zero-day faults. And this idea that suddenly blockchain makes cyberspace a secure environment is complete nonsense. So watch out for that. Longer term, I think this isn't so much a cyber crime attack. This is more a cultural question. We're in an era of strategic fundamental change. We have lived, without really recognizing it, within an era of what some people call United States digital colonialism. The United States has run it, it's developed the technology. The technology embodies Western values, so we in Britain haven't been too concerned about it. But China, as the Pentagon's head of cybersecurity said on his retirement the other day, he said, we've already lost the artificial intelligence battle. China is going to win that. And so what we're seeing now is the start of the Chinese digital colonialism. And that's going to fundamentally change the assumptions on which software is written. And those cultural features are going to really be dominating us as we move into the 5G and AI era. And that's, to me, culturally, I find very unsettling.